The Kansas City Chiefs are bringing in another offensive tackle, this time by way of the UDFA ranks. This video will appear in 3 playlists here on the channel. Number 1 being the 2025 offseason, number 2 being the 2025 draft picks, and number 3 being the 2025 NFL draft playlist here on the channel. There are videos already made for every one of the Chiefs draft picks from this previous draft, and now we are going one by one through the UDFA. And guys, there's a lot of them, so stick around for that if you were not already around. Today we are talking about Esa Pole, left tackle out of Washington State, and this is an interesting case. Now, like a lot of the UDFAs, wasn't a combine invite, so we don't have a whole lot of official measurements on him, but he's somewhere between 6'5.5" and 6'7", 319 and 321 pounds, with 33.5 to 34 3/4 inch arms. He has done 20. Now, at his pro day, we did get some numbers: 23 reps on bench press with 225 pounds, 29-inch vertical leap, and a 5.21 40-yard dash. A touch slow. You like to see 5.2 or better, but 5.21, hey, you're getting a tackle as a UDFA. Now, here's some interesting things. Esa Pole did not play football until college. Was a high school basketball player, was recruited for basketball to college, and even, I believe he said he played one season of D2, or no. He was recruited to D2 schools for basketball. So he has some athleticism to him. Last season, per PFF, 69.7 rating, a very big jump from 48.5 the previous season. Before that, I believe he was in community college. So this is a guy very much on the rise. Played 13 games last season and 9 games in 2023. 861 snaps last year compared to 578 the prior season. Now here is the big thing with Esa Pole. Right here, pass block snaps in 2024. 498 pass block snaps, 0 sacks. This is at Washington State. This is not at community college. This is not at D2. This is not at Eastern Michigan. This is at Washington State. 0 sacks, 500 snaps, and he really hasn't played all that much football. He did give up 3 hits and just 6 hurries on 500 snaps. He played all of his reps, both of those seasons at left tackle. That might not sound like a very big deal, but we know here in Kansas City how important a left tackle is, don't we? We know that we would not trust someone coming in off the street to play left tackle for Patrick Mahomes. That's exactly what happened at Washington State, getting a guy from community college who did not play football as late as high school. And the only football he has played has been at the left tackle position. 3 sacks total during his college career. Over 900 snaps pass blocking. 0 sacks last year on 498 snaps pass blocking. So, what else are we looking at here with Esa Pole? Well, we do have some other numbers from PFF. Not a particularly promising run block grade at 57.3. The gap grade I can kind of forgive because I think there's a whole lot going on there, especially when you're talking about a guy who has never played football before college. You're talking about gap grades. You don't know what the defense is doing. You don't know what the offense is supposed to be doing. Who knows? There's a lot of stuff going into that. Pass block grade, 85.8. True pass set block grade, 82.2. These are impressive numbers at a major college, especially for a guy who has not played offensive tackle or football at all before the college level. Now, just off the top, just before we get into anything else, I think Esa Pole is a practice squad player this season while he soaks in information. While he gets things going, I think you're going to see him on the practice squad as long as he doesn't do anything too impressive in the preseason and get plucked off of that practice squad. Because here's the thing, there's not a whole lot of tape on Esa Pole. What if 498 snaps and 0 sacks, that's just who this guy is, right? So maybe, but I think odds are he's not perfect. He's not the perfect prospect, just a perfect pass blocker. Now remember, here's something I am no expert, right? I am not an offensive line coach or anything of the sort, but it looks to me like he has reps that are either really good with his hands or really good with his feet. The promising part of this is that if he puts the two together, he's a really good offensive line prospect. The downside is, what if he's just getting wires crossed? What if it's not there? What if he doesn't turn all of those keys? This could, however, just be a product of the fact that he's trying to take in all of this coaching to implement because he does not have instincts, right? He has not played football all that long to have football instincts. So none of this is second nature. Once he builds football as second nature, the technique could come together and he could be a dominant offensive lineman because he does have bad run blocking grades. There's nothing looking at him or his game that suggests he should not be a good run blocker. He is mobile. He looks strong. So he doesn't have bad feet, not all the time. So I think that this might just be, he's got to grow into it still. It's not second nature. He's better at pass blocking than run blocking. He is mobile, like I said, but he is a little bit stiff. He is, it's an interesting case because you can tell he has athleticism, but you can't tell necessarily that he is an athlete. I know that sounds stupid, and I don't know how else to explain it, but he has coordination. Maybe that's what I should be saying. He certainly has coordination, but he does look stiff. He does look blocky. I think it is possible that there were a lot of people that had him with a draftable grade, but they took him off the board completely just because he did not have experience, right? So if you're going to take somebody, they might as well check the experience box. And because you don't know exactly what you're getting there, I think it's possible a lot of people just took him out of being gradable. Now let me see if I can move this down because the Kansas City Chiefs currently have, I believe, 15 names at offensive line. So here's the thing. Creed Humphrey, and I listed them in no particular order other than the fact that this is how they appear on the Chiefs official roster, the order in which they appear on the Chiefs official roster when you sort by position. Creed Humphrey. Obviously, this is an NFL guy. Obviously, this is the Chiefs starting center. So, check. Here's one. McCade Mettauer. I didn't see anything in McCade Mettauer's game that made me think he was going to be a professional football player. He got injured last preseason, and the Chiefs never reached an injury settlement with him. They kept him on the roster on IR throughout that entire thing. So that leads me to believe that they do like McCade Mettauer. I don't see it, but we have all preseason to figure that out. So maybe. Trey Smith. There is a starting offensive lineman. Mike Caliendo, former UDFA, just like McCade Mettauer, just like Esa Pole. he is an NFL offensive lineman. We know this because he has played a lot of reps for the Kansas City Chiefs. C.J. Hansen, the 7th round pick last year, I think he has a whole lot of potential. I think he has upside at offensive tackle. He was drafted as a guard. Wanya Morris, a lot of people don't like Wanya Morris. I don't see where all of the hatred comes from. I think that he is not playing his best position. His best position's probably right tackle. Second best, I think he could be an offensive guard. So all this having him line up at left tackle stuff might just be unfair to him. He's an offensive lineman. He's an NFL offensive lineman. Okay, Hunter Nourzad. This was he a 4th or a 5th round pick last year? Definitely an offensive lineman, definitely an NFL offensive lineman, and I think that he has upside potential to start either at guard or tackle. I think this is going to allow the Chiefs some leeway with their guard positions going forward, a guy like Hunter Nourzad. Ethan Driscoll, I think this is an NFL offensive lineman. I think he probably did have a draftable grade last season and just fell through the cracks. A lot of times that happens in the 7th round. I think we will see this season that he is an NFL offensive lineman, and the Chiefs will keep him again on the 53, or they might be able to trade and get something for him. Jason Godric, I do not see the potential here. Much better last season than he was the prior year, but I just don't see him being an NFL offensive lineman at this point. Jalen Moore, this is a starting level offensive tackle. Josh Simmons, 1st round pick, starting level offensive tackle. Kingsley Suamataia, a lot of people hate him. I think he got a raw deal. Jawan Taylor, starting right tackle. So there are only 2 skips in the first 13 names here. Esa Pole, I think, is an NFL offensive lineman. Dalton Cooper, another UDFA that we will talk about later. I think he is an NFL-level offensive lineman at this point in the analysis. So the Chiefs have 15 names here. I skip McCade Mettauer and Jason Godric, meaning I think the Chiefs have 13 NFL-level offensive linemen. The big hubbub is that the Kansas City Chiefs did not have a sufficient left tackle, right? That's very hard to get. That doesn't mean the other linemen aren't good for what they're good for. Now, the preseason is going to be very telling for this group, obviously. The preseason is where this group stands to create a market for themselves. Not everybody's going to be here. They're not going to carry 13 offensive linemen. 2 of them, 3 of them as a practice squad guy. And if you're going to keep a practice squad guy, then I'm not opposed to McCade Mettauer. McCade Mettauer might be a practice squad offensive lineman. He might be able to grow into an NFL offensive guard. I don't know. We haven't seen a whole lot from him. This is a good problem to have. Too many bodies at offensive line. Esa Pole, I think, is destined for the practice squad. Is there anyone else here that the Kansas City Chiefs can garner something for in the trade market? They've already traded away next season's round 4 pick in order to move up in this year's draft. So they're going to want to reclaim that. Maybe they don't need to. But one way to do that is through trading away pieces at the end of this preseason. And I think there may be a name or 2 on this list that don't make it to the regular season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Who that is, I don't know. Because the only players you have are players who have started or players who only have potential. Like Hunter Nourzad, I think that's a starting offensive lineman. Hasn't shown anything. So what is the market there? Esa Pole, I think he's an NFL guy. Hasn't shown anything. Dalton Cooper, I think he's going to be an NFL guy. Hasn't shown anything. So the numbers game at offensive line will be very interesting this preseason for the Kansas City Chiefs. We might also see them pick up someone once the cut day goes through, right? So I think that the strategy here is one that I agree with, which is simply overkill. Sign everyone you can, everyone who shows a shred of potential, and hope that somebody emerges, right? So that is the video for Esa Pole. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and I hope to have you back for the next one.